Last year, human activity around the world generated 37.4 billion metric tons of greenhouse gases. These are expressed in CO2 equivalents because there are other greenhouse gases such as methane, which are converted to CO2 with a similar impact. That 37.4 billion tons is up 1.1% compared with 2022. Any analysis of global greenhouse gas emissions and how climate change will play out has to start with China. That's because China is by far the world's biggest emitter. They reached 12.6 billion metric tons last year, up 5.2% compared with 2022. They're a third of the total. So China will determine where global emissions go more than any other country. There are a lot of apologists for China. They are building enormous capacity in solar and wind. They have the biggest electric vehicle market in the world. This can make it sound as if China is a leader in reducing emissions. But China has a big population, so they're a leader in many things. They burn over half the world's coal, which provides 63% of their electricity. I was at a presentation at the Naples Council of World Affairs recently in Florida. Professor Radley Horton teaches at Columbia University's Climate School. He highlighted China's big EV market as a positive example. I didn't miss the opportunity to remind him that China's EVs mostly run on coal, so they're really not doing much to reduce emissions, and we might even be worse off than if they only drove gasoline-powered cars. It tends to be that liberal politicians negotiate with China and other emerging economies on climate. Perhaps it's because liberals care more, but they're weak negotiators. Western countries have bought into the idea that poorer countries like China should be allowed to increase emissions while they close the gap with rich world living standards. I've always thought this is a weak argument. The reason China's GDP per capita is around $13,000 compared to the US at $76,000 is because they spent decades under communism with a centrally planned economy. We didn't do that to them. If we want to lower CO2 emissions, it's not clear why the world needs China to increase theirs, except that, of course, they're a sovereign nation and they'll do whatever's in their national interest. I think the main driver of China's energy policies is energy security. China is self-sufficient in building solar and wind power. They produce over 90% of the coal they burn. One day there will probably be a conflict with the West over Taiwan. China's oil and gas imports will be at risk. The more they can make their economy run on electricity, the less exposed they'll be to Western energy sanctions. If China's emissions come down as a result, that's no more than a happy coincidence. Don't be fooled by China. They're going for energy independence. A lot of people want to believe they share the same concerns as rich world Western countries. They don't. If you're interested in learning more about the energy sector and interest rates, then don't forget to subscribe and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Our handles are in the description box below. To find out more about what we're thinking, you can sign up for our twice-weekly blog at sl-advisors.com. We always love to hear from you. So if you have any comments or blog ideas, please leave them down below. I'm Simon Lack. Thank you for watching this video.